Everyone. It's a pleasure to welcome you all to the first Alumni Connect meet here at our beloved IISER-Pune. A welcome back to the alumni. I'm Shraddha Burkunde, a BSMS alumna from batch 2014 to 2019, and I'm thrilled to be your host for today's event. To kick off the event, I invite upon Kundan to present a welcome address for this exciting event.
Good afternoon, everyone, and wish you all a very happy new year. So it's a really great pleasure to have all of you come here, that too on a Saturday evening, when you could have done other things. So we are really thrilled to have this Alumni Connect event, and with the students who are there now, and with many of our alumni, and there are 9 prominent alumni with us here, who will be talking about their experiences, their journey through our institute and thereafter, and how they have very remarkably charted their own territories and made a mark in their own respective fields. Somebody said that nobody is bothered about an institution more than its alumni, and this somebody is Narayan Murthy. So needless to mention, the alumni have a very important stake in the institute. They are the ones who create a platform amongst the alumni. They have a very strong association with the institute, and they are the ones who really drive the progress of the institute. I'm sure you'll hear a lot more about this as we go on today. Now, just before this meeting, what we did was, all of the alumni who are here present, we all had a short meeting to come up with a sort of a alumni association of IISER-Pune. And I'm not going to get into all the details of the deliberations of why and what we discussed, but it was a general discussion about what the alumni want to do with interacting with the students, and what should the students do to interact with the alumni. And I'm happy to say that we have a fairly sizable group of names, and I'm going to announce the names right here. And these are our own alumni who have done their BSMS or PhD from our institute, and a couple of our own students here. I'm going to announce their names. If you are here, please raise your hand. Charvi, Shubhanshu, Vrishali, Mansi, Varun, Vaibhav, Shraddha,
Yep.
she's here, Chaitanya,
Here.
Rahul, Komal, Shalini. These are all our alumni, and there are many more, and I'm sure there are lot of people who will be joining. Abhilash as well, and from here, Anuja and Shalini and many other students who have expressed interest. So please give a big hand to all of the first ever committee members of the Alumni Association of IISER-Pune. I'm very proud to be a part of this whole process, and we hope that this committee that we have formed today is going to show us the path on how we take forward the goals of the alumni-student interaction. So with that, I'd be happy to hand over the proceedings to Shraddha, and I'm sure you'll have a really exciting day ahead. Thank you.
Thank you, Kundan. Let's warmly welcome our director, Professor Bhagwat, to share a few words about our engagement with our alumni and students.
Good afternoon, alumni, students, and my colleagues. 17 years ago, when this institution started, many of you have seen the institutes working from a hired building. From that day till today, you would see many changes in the campus. Not just the campus, but also the people there. Some of you belong to the earliest batches with more than 10 years after having left this place. it is said that usually the first few years after you leave an academic institute, you are filled more with, first of all, the eagerness for your career. But it is also the feeling that I had to struggle hard here when I was here for the 4 or 5 years. So the memories often are of the painful nights that you spent before the exams or after the results, or toiling through whatever assignments you were given. But it is also said that beyond 5 years, you feel that you are reaping benefits of the time spent here. It is beyond 10 years that the nostalgia really kicks in. It is that time that you want to meet the same teacher who made you like, say, biology, mathematics, whatever that subject be. Even if you are not now involved in that subject, you want to just go and meet that teacher and tell him or her that they made a difference in your life. First few years as alumni, as people who are still progressing through your education or in early years of your career, the struggle is at its peak. And therefore, you perhaps don't have time to meet your classmates often. Fortunately, for you people, there is mobile phone, there is smartphone, there is WhatsApp. I won't even say email because that's probably an older thing. But when I graduated, there was nothing of the sort. And it took us more than 10 years before all of us connected again. But let me tell you, today I am connected not just with my graduation classmates, but also with my high school classmates. And you would realize that whatever friendship you build in those early years, be it your school days or be your undergraduate days, they have a much deeper meaning for you than the people in professional life that you meet later on. I'm aware that a lot of you are current students who are still creating their memories here. But I would want the alumni to tell the students how you feel about those memories now. Because when you are going through it, you don't realize how valuable those nightly discussions in a hostel room of one particular person, which becomes the famous adda for everybody to gather, and you have discussions over anything or almost nothing till 5 a.m. in the morning, and then remember that throughout, that this was the time I was really enjoying myself. Am I saying the things which you are going through? It is very important that you have that hostel life. And an institute like this allows everybody to have that hostel life. Many of us who have ourselves been hostelites advise friends and family that if there is an option for your kid to go away and stay in a hostel, even if the institute is of the same value as the one where you can go by staying with your parents, you should still go out. You will learn a lot more from the institutes outside the classroom, being in the hostel, than what you learn in the classrooms. It is that feeling and those memories that will bring you back here. Meet the teachers whom you liked. Meet the teachers who got you interested in a subject. Also meet the teachers you hated. And perhaps you felt the most unhappy in their classes. Meet them as well. Because when you meet them after a few years, your perspective may be different. Many of the teachers that you have here could have had an alternate career elsewhere, perhaps even more rewarding. But they chose to be here because they like this profession. And the most likable part of this profession is when an alumnus returns to the institute and meets you. So please give them that pleasure of meeting you all when you are here. Do tell the current students the tips about what life in IISER was for you when you were here. And they might tell you, no, these things are very different today. Some of you will see even the infrastructure was very different when you were here. And things hopefully change every few years. So the current students, when they come back after 5 years, they will find a few things added to the campus. And these connections with your teachers, with your classmates, are your network to fall back upon, irrespective of what you do in your career. Some of those who graduated from here have chosen to be in academics. Some of them have chosen to be entrepreneurs. Some of them have chosen to be a social worker. And some of them have chosen to do things which apparently have nothing to do what they studied here. But let me assure you, what you learned here was not just the chemistry or the mathematics. It was the way of science and the way to learn. And with an added dimension, compared to your other friends who might have done science in other colleges, that you are also connected with research during your undergraduate years. All of us faculty members here were, of course, students at some point of time. And we know the value of connecting back to the alma mater. So please use this day, please use this forum, please use the newly formed Alumni Association to the fullest extent, and the benefits will be mutual. We want your inputs as alumni when we frame our syllabi. With your experience, you may want to tell us that this particular content needs to be changed in certain way. We want to listen to that as well. You yourself may want to take a fresh look at some subject. You will find ways of doing that when you connect here. So when you are here today, please refresh your memories. Students, please look at this day as your opportunity to create memories and create your networks with IISER alumni even before you graduate. So with this, best wishes to enjoy the day. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Bhagwat. That was very relatable. From the back, I could see some of the alumni nodding head while the current ones were shaking hands. I'm told that the current batch of students have prepared a small video for us. So let's have a look at it.
हेलो भाई, मेरा इंटर्नशिप लग गया ब्रो गूगल में।
कॉन्ग्रेचुलेशन भाई, कॉन्ग्रेचुलेशन। बढ़िया है।
थैंक्स भाई। भाई तेरा बीएसएमएस के बाद तेरा क्या प्लान है?
अरे भाई, पीएचडी करना है अपने को तो।
भाई लेकिन देखो, सच में पीएचडी करना है क्या?
हाय ब्रो, कैसे है?
बढ़िया हूँ।
और बता, बीएसएमएस के क्या सोची?
मैं मुझे करना है बिजनेस। मेरा बड़ा भाई आईआईएम अहमदाबाद में भी है, तो मैं तो अपनी फर्म खोलूंगा, तो फिर उसको बड़ा करूंगा और बड़ा बिजनेस करूंगा, और एक दो फर्म तो और ही खोलूंगा। हाँ, यही प्लान है मेरा। तो एमबीए करना है, बिजनेस डालना है।
हाय भैया, कैसे हो? और पार्टनर कैसे? बस भैया बढ़िया। एंड भैया, आपने बीएसएमएस के बाद क्या सोचा?
बीएसएमएस के बाद यार मैंने सोचा तो पीएचडी करना, बट अभी अनश्योर हूँ मैं क्या करना है। बाकी देखते हैं, टाइम निकाला जाएगा।
ओके। एंड वन थिंग भैया, द पीएचडी इज द ओनली ऑप्शन आफ्टर बीएसएमएस?
नो इट्स नॉट। डू द बेस्ट यू कैन डू इट इंटरेस्टिंग। कुछ भी करो, मतलब जिसमें तुम्हें मजा आए करने का। बाकी टेंशन नहीं यार, चलो बहुत टाइम है।
और भाई, तुम लोगों ने क्या सोचा है फ्यूचर का?
अबे यहाँ पे एक इम्पोर्टेंट सीन चल रहा है। गोजो मर गया, उसके फ्यूचर के बारे में पता नहीं। मेरे फ्यूचर में हर बार आ जाते हैं। मेरे को एनीमे देखने दे, ठीक है?
अरे ये तो नमूना है। तू बता भाई।
तू कब आया रूम पे?
हेलो। हाँ पापा, बोलिए। बस पापा बढ़िया। अभी बस कंफ्यूज चल रहा था लाइफ में। बीएसएमएस के बाद क्या करना है समझ ही नहीं आ रहा।
ओ, तो अपने कॉलेज के किसी एलुमनाई वगैरह से पूछो ना। तुम्हारे कॉलेज में एलुमनाई नेटवर्क वगैरह नहीं है क्या?
अरे एल्यूमनाई का क्या ही बताऊँ, कोई एल्यूमनाई नेटवर्क ही नहीं है कॉलेज का। कोई कहीं भी प्लेटफॉर्म नहीं जहाँ पे बात कर सकें एल्यूमनाई। कुछ ऐसा है ही नहीं आए हमारे कॉलेज में।
ओहो।
हाँ, चलिए ठीक है, मैं आपको बाद में कॉल करता हूँ।
Needless to say, I keep a check. She was a bad bad, nevertheless. Calling it quits now, baby, I'm a wreck. Crash at my.
That was fun. Now that the expectations are highlighted, let's dive into the heart of our event, the Talks by Accomplished Alumni. I'm a STEM educator and I mentor teachers in pedagogy and science and research. Similarly, a lot of us chose to do something different from research. And today we tried to bring in a lineup of such diverse speakers. Our first speaker is Dr. Mansi Kulkarni Khasnis, a PhD alumna of batch 2010-16 and the founder of Fast Turtle Company and CEO of Biomark IQ Scientific Private Limited. Get ready to be inspired by her entrepreneurial journey.
Hello and good afternoon, everybody. First of all, thank you, Kundan and Dr. Santanam, for giving me this opportunity to talk from the dais where I have performed in my PhD days, and also the dais from where I got my degree. So it's been 7 years, and it feels really nostalgic to come here and talk to you guys. So my name is Manasi, and I'm going to try my level best to tell you my IISER love, because this is not going, 5 minutes are not sufficient. She told me 5 minutes. That's not sufficient, but I'll try my level best. Okay, so my career and the way, IISER has played role in my career has both science and art as integral parts. So two sides of one coin. Why to choose one when you have both? So setting the ground, I was told that I should talk about from where I started until I ended up in IISER. So 1 to 10 was in my mother tongue, my Matrubhasha Marathi. Later, I shifted to Lakshman Rao Apte Junior College for my +2. Did a biotechnology engineering, which was the first batch in the Pune, University of Pune, and I was the first batch there. And then I came to IISER-Pune. My PhD mentor here was Dr. Sai Krishnan Kairath, a very accomplished scientist, a person with extreme perfection, passion for doing science, and I was fortunate to take the place of his very first student. And why I'm saying I was fortunate, because he literally told me to hold pipette. He showed me how to do transformation. He told me how to do SDS page. I had no clue how things get done, because I was coming from a B.Tech background and I had no lab experience before. The thing which he told me when we had our first conversation, sir, if you remember, over Skype meeting, I told him that I don't know even how to load a gel, and how will I survive in a lab where protein purification is going to be done? He said that, don't worry, you just need to have scientific orientation and everything is going to fall in place. So that was the thing which I still carry with me. Whether or not you have ability or tools that you know beforehand you start any journey, the question that you want to answer is important, and the mindset with which you are going to answer that question is important. And he literally guided me through that, knowing no tools, nothing. We started and we established the lab together. So as the director sir said, I was one of those batches when we shifted from the rented place to this place, from G1 to again, the place where the current lab is. So this is, I'm speechless in talking about what Sai sir has given me in my PhD. So I have just a few photographs to show you guys, and I'll come to why I'm showing the photographs, because as I said, science and art, both the elements were an integral part of my life at IISER, and IISER, I think, is the best place that I've seen celebrates both science and creative things together. So, chromatography running side by side, some 4 hours of run, but don't waste that time. We used to have a lot of creative discussions, which culminated into a lot of different things that we did after we got our degrees. People here are one of those. You can recognize this is the same dais, and this is Raman Magsaysay awardee T.M. Krishna, and I got a fortune to play Tanpura, just accompany a Tanpura for him back in IISER. If you can recognize this is a lecture hall complex, the place where we enter from. And we had an international conference of structural biology, and Sai sir said that you have to perform there, and it was literally a bliss performing for IISER community there. We were really, we cannot forget this moment, and you can see the campus at that time. Posters, way to demo what we do in the labs, and I literally can't remember this location. This is the current guest house. I am told this is now, this used to be the multi-purpose hall back then, and we used to have violin classes, after our lab hours there, and everything IISER community could do for students to de-stress, we had taken part in that activity. Sir Tom Blundell visited IISER, and these three people you see, apart from Sir Blundell, is our initial 3 people lab, and we had taken him around the city tour, and I mean, this was incredible, incredible. And what I'm showing the next is a CD at Music Room at IISER. I don't know what is it repurposed for now, but there used to be a very cozy music room just close on the first floor of the guest house right now. And we had performed, I think, 50 to 60 minutes of music for Sir Blundell. And this was the first CD that I gave him, and he listened to it while he's way back from IISER to, I think, Senapati Bapat Road, and he called us, I think, to say that it was wonderful music and keep doing music. So see, these things are happening at an environment where, you know, people are just doing science, but are also encouraged to do something that motivates to do more science, motivates to excel in whatever they are doing. So this was an epitome of, you know, encouragement for such things. Now, this is towards the end, and you can see this is the library, and this is towards the end of my PhD, and that time we had grown big, and I was also carrying a baby at that time. And finally, these are my parents at IISER-Pune. We finished the journey of PhD. So you can see that life at IISER-Pune has been a combination of both music and academia together. And I was not sure which path to pursue. And in fact, I was not sure which path to quit. And I took good 7 years to figure out what I wanted to do. And so there were 2 things, passion and education. And after having invested 7 years for PhD and also invested your childhood and your days until PhD in your passion, I decided that both the things could be balanced. And therefore, I founded 2 companies in the last year. One is Biomark IQ, which focuses on innovation part, where my guide has guided me how to solve problems, whatever may be the problem, but you need to understand how to solve it, have the right mindset. And that's Biomark IQ. It deals in, I'll talk in the next slide what it deals with. And the other one is Fast Turtle Company, where I am basically inclined towards appreciation of music and other art forms, because these are the things that keep you motivated in your life. So at Biomark IQ, we are pioneering precision in early lung cancer detection. We are developing a sandwiched blood test, which is combined with a clinical inference engine to detect signs in the blood of a cancer patient. He may be asymptomatic as well at that point. So that is the vision. And the team is me, another PhD holder from NCCS Pune, and Atharva, who's sitting in the audience today. So he's come to cheer me up. Talking about Balageet, Balageet is a concept that was very close to my heart. Under Fast Turtle Company, I run this concept, and these are music appreciation sessions for children. And if a day is 24 hours, 12 hours for Biomark IQ, 12 hours for Balageet is the current division of my hours. And right now, Instagram is the platform where we are insanely popular. We have around 28,000 followers in just 4 months. So that is the success of Balageet in Pune currently. So in concluding, I couldn't think of any better slide or better picture or better quote than this from the Three Idiots movie. Success के पीछे मत भागो, excellence के पीछा करो. Success झक मार के तुम्हारी पीछे जाएगी. So I think IISER is one of those excellent institutions where I'm still proud, to be taking part in all the diverse activities in outside lab, inside lab, at home, and cherishing all the memories that IISER Pune has given me. I'm proud of my alma mater, and thank you, IISER Pune, for giving me this opportunity to talk here. Thank you.
Thank you, Mansi. That was quite nostalgic. There's going to be a Q&A section at the end of all the talks, so wait for that. Our next speaker, Srinidhi Mahishi and Chris John, BSMS alumni from batch 2012-17, both making a significant impact as teachers at Sahyadri School. Let's hear their stories of life after IISER-Pune.
Uh, I, Hi everyone, I'm Chris. I passed out in 2018, and thank you to Dr. Kundan and Dr. Santanam for giving me this opportunity to come here. So my journey into math education. So I am a math teacher in Sahyadri School. It's a school near Pune. It's a Krishnamurti Foundation School. So it started with a lot of influences and a lot of support and interest that was generated in me in mathematics while I was here at IISER. And not just in courses, but other activities like math club and going quiz club, all that generated this interest in me to connect with uh, uh, the students and people around in more fun way. And that was, yeah, so so I think all my influences, professors who influenced me are there in the second photo there. Professor Raghuram, Tejas, Rama ma'am, Anupam sir, and this is, I think, the inauguration of the maths department. So having learned from them mathematics and being part of all the activities here, wanted me to, created in me this interest to take this passion and love that I have for mathematics to more people. And after I passed out of IISER, this is what I started doing. So immediately after IISER, I got into working in an NGO, which is Orava in Wayanad, where they had a project to develop mathematical toys for students and for really young students. And luckily, I got the chance to work there. And these are some of the toys we developed, so using bamboo for students. The first one shows Mobius strip, and so in the toy, when you play around, you realize the difference between orientable and non-orientable surfaces. And many other toys we created to teach permutation, similar constant widths of objects. So from here, I went to APU, where I continued my passion in developing mathematical toys. You can see some some hyperbolic surfaces, and that is the photo of APU campus, where I, along with developing these things, I was also responsible for Math Center, where I also had to interact with students who, UG students, but who were doing humanities and were struggling with mathematics. So this subject that I'm really interested in and which I want to take to a lot of people, see everyone, make everyone see the beauty of this subject, also was a subject which created a lot of fear, even in students who are in UG level. And this was a bit surprising for me at that point. And especially one of the most shocking points at that, shocking experiences was that once when I gave a middle school level worksheet to one of those students, she froze and started crying. She was scared of the subject. And that kind of made me think that the subject which brings in a lot of passion in me also creates this intense fear in people, and by university it is already fixed. And how can I work on this, and what can I do to make it more, make more people see this? So I realized that maybe I should move on to school level education, and that's where I joined Sahyadri School. This is a view of the campus, view from the campus, where these are some of my students and some of my colleagues. So, and these are various activities that we do at Sahyadri. So, in Sahyadri School, I'm involved with teaching in middle school and senior school, and also junior school. But there, along with the normal teaching, we have a lot of freedom to do many other activities as teachers. And one of the activities that I do is take some enrichment classes where students who already have some interest in mathematics, we explore middle school students. These are 8th standard, 7th standard students with whom I work. And we are looking at various kinds of infinities. We are exploring how to show one infinity is different from others, exploring geometric series, looking at developing some basic theorems of graph theory just by their own exploration. So all these things create this interest in them, and I can see this passion for the subject develop in them at a young age. And so this is one of the things that I wanted to do. The other part is this fear of math that people have. And for that, there are I sit with these students who struggle with the subject. So I noticed that it's not just the subject that makes them scared, but it's also so it's working with them to build their confidence is what helps them. And some quick anecdotes that I will give is, only yesterday I was sitting with one of my students, and he asked me, can you give me the proof of Pythagoras theorem? And I was like, let's not go into some textbook proof that we had, but if you notice this corner left image, bottom, that this is a proof that came out last year using a proof of Pythagorean theorem using trigonometry, which does not assume Pythagoras theorem. And we were working for almost an hour after school trying to figure this out. We know this diagram and we are trying to figure it out, and we figured it. And the look on his face showed me that, yes, this child is going to pursue math. And that is something that was really something that I would remember. So ultimately, one thing that I would want to say is that when I passed out of IISER, the question remains like, okay, everyone is going for PhD, what can I do if not PhD? And when my passion for math automatically took me to a journey where I can take it to more people. I thank IISER-Pune for giving me this opportunity.
So it's really nice to see so many of you turned up, and this used to be one of my favorite comics when I was doing my BSMS at IISER, and I used to turn up for all kinds of events just for the free food. So it was good to see so many of you turned up here. I'm not sure if you're getting free food or not, but just the fact that so many of you have gathered is it's quite something. So when I was graduating from IISER after my 5th year, one of the professors had asked me, the question was, what do you think you have learned at IISER? And I hadn't thought of that question a lot, and at that moment I just said whatever came to my mind, and looking back I feel that that is something that still holds true. I told him that I don't remember a lot of what I learned in my classes, but I do know that if I get a piece of information, I'm not going to just accept it. I'm going to look at it and be skeptical about whatever I read. And in this age of misinformation and fake news, and I think that that is a very important skill to have, and perhaps IISER taught me that particular skill. So as Chris said, Chris and I are colleagues. Both of us are from the 2012 BSMS batch, and I teach at a school called Sayadri School, which is a couple of hours from here. And back when I was in IISER, I didn't think about this question so much, but over the last few years, I've been thinking, what is education? Even IISER has the word education in it, Indian Institute of Science, Education and Research. So what is my relationship with the word education, and what, if I can say, what is the right kind of education? I don't know, right, in quotes. That is the question I've been carrying, and perhaps I want to explore that question in the next few minutes, if it is possible. So if I look back at my IISER days, this is from Karwa 2012, and I was very deeply involved with Karwa, first as a participant and then as an organizer, and I was very happy to see I met some of the organizers from the other batches just before this event. And I was also quite keenly involved with Disha, where we used to go to nearby vastis and teach students a couple of times a week, and once in a while on Sundays also get them to campus. I hope that program is still running. I'm not sure. Is it running? Yes. Okay. Yeah. Very nice to hear that. And looking back, I feel that in addition to my classes, this was perhaps as important to me. And as Professor Sunil also said, that in addition to classes, what happens in hostel and what you do as a part of other activities, at least for me, it really holds true that that is something that I really look back at with a lot of learning. So years passed by and I had to do my thesis project, and I was wondering what to do for my thesis project. And there was this lab in Indian Institute of Science, the Center for Ecological Sciences I applied to, and they were doing a project on black bugs. And I was very excited and I applied to them, and I said that I want to be a part of this project. They said that this is not a project that we are actively running right now, we have a different project. So I asked them, what is this project that you're running? And it was a project on studying lizards, not what I had imagined I would do, but I was like, sure, let's go ahead and see what happens. So this was my first experience into field ecology. I had done some lab projects when I was in, as a part of my semester projects and internship. So I used to carry this camera, video camera, and record the activity of these lizards, place some fake plastic lizards in their territory and see what they did. And actually, so this is a response of one of the individuals trying to attack, thinking that it is intruding. And this lasted for around 20 seconds, and I would say that that was the most exciting 20 seconds of my fifth year project. So I knew that perhaps research and PhD is not for me, but I had to write a thesis. So I followed the steps that are required to write a thesis. I had step 1, step 2, step 3 very clearly laid out. I made a plan, I set a deadline, and of course, you know what happens after that. So it was quite clear to me that PhD is not something that is meant for me, perhaps. So what else could I do? So while exploring that question and continuing my work at Disha, I joined an organization called Teach for India, which is an NGO based in many cities across the country. And I was in Mumbai for a couple of years, where I taught in some under-resourced schools for 2 years. And again, that was one of the most enriching experiences of my life. This was from my last class in 2019, when I took the class with the students there. And the reason why I put this picture is that this is a school in Mumbai, and I was very surprised to know that a school in Mumbai could be of this kind, meaning it is in Sakinaka, where you have like corporate offices, metros, and so on. But if you look at the condition of the walls and so on, the infrastructure, and that was something on my mind. Why is it that schools still have such poor infrastructure and poor education? So very quickly, wrapping up, I know I'm running short of time, but Sayadri School, it's what they refer to as an alternative school, and it's a residential school, the usual. But what I do at this, in addition to teaching, is that I run one outreach program, education outreach program, where we go to the nearby government schools and conduct some activities. And as a part of my role, I also take some of our students for excursions across different parts of the country. So this is from Kutch, where we had gone a few years ago. This is from Himalayan Trek. So that made me think about different forms of learning or education. Is travel also a form of learning or education with students? So you can see Chris is also there, I'm there. And is this also a form of education? Bird watching, citizen science, ornithology, and so on. I think we'll skip this part. And yes, towards the end, I would just like to say that this is something that I resonate a lot with. And I hope that this resonates with many of you as well. Thank you.
For enlightening us with your journeys in education. Next up, we have Smita Ghorpade, BSMS alumna from batch 2011-16 and now a bank manager. Let's hear about her journey.
Hello, everyone. First of all, I'd like to thank Kundan and Dr. Santhanam for having me here today and for giving me the opportunity to share my experiences in IISER and after IISER as well. So, my name is Smita and I'm originally from Nasik. I've done my education till class 12 from Nasik. I joined IISER-Pune in 2011. After pursuing all physics, chemistry, maths, biology for 2 years, I chose to pursue biology further since my third year. I also did various projects during my time in IISER. I did a project with Dr. Ramana Atreya, with Dr. Pinaki Talukdar, with Dr. Nishikant Subedar. Then finally, I joined the lab of Dr. Arnab Ghosh and continued there till my final year MS thesis project. My time at IISER has been nothing short of transformative. As in, those who know me will tell you I was a different person when I joined IISER and a different person when I graduated from IISER. Not only did I learn science here, but also many, many life lessons which were learned outside of classes, in labs, in hostel, which have shaped me and made me what I am today. Another aspect of my life which has been affected by IISER a lot is the friendships that I've formed. Staying with your batchmates for 5 years, it has led to a creation of a bond that I don't think would have been possible otherwise if I wasn't in IISER. So yeah, that has led to the foundation of my personal and professional growth. After passing out of IISER in 2016, I took a break from research for a year and I taught at a college in Nasik. I was a lecturer in zoology for a year. After that, I joined the lab of Dr. Rukmini Govekar at ACTREC in Navi Mumbai to pursue my PhD in cancer biology. However, due to some family issues and personal circumstances, I had to discontinue my PhD after 2 years. It was a very difficult time. I was very uncertain. I didn't know what was going to happen. But yeah, and it was also the same time when COVID hit the world. So 2 years after that, I was at home completely. However, while I was at home, I got this idea of studying for competitive exams, for banking exams. And since I wasn't able to go out anywhere, I thought, okay, I might as well do that. So I started studying and I cleared the IBPS PO exam in 2021. I joined Bank of Maharashtra as a deputy manager. It has been 2.5 years now. And even though it is completely different from what I studied and what I specialized in IISER, I have to thank IISER for making me capable of doing it. Everything that I learned in IISER, the passion to learn new things, I think that was very important. That was what helped me to get into a new field and to learn everything afresh. I'm also very happy to share that I am joining Reserve Bank of India very soon as a Grade B officer. So I owe it to IISER for everything. Yeah, that's all, I guess. Thank you.
Thank you, Smita. Moving on, we have Shubhanshu Chauhan, an alumnus of BSMS from batch of 2000 PhD from 2013 to 2019, and now a senior data scientist.
Good afternoon. First of all, I would like to thank organizers and all the volunteers for organizing this such a nice event. It's always nice to be back at IISER, and every time I come here, I see something is different. And now recently, this back gate, which was not there, now it's very nice, and we can come from that side. So, so I'm just going to take you through my journey, starting from my school days and how I came to IISER, and then what happened after IISER, and how I am at a position where I am today. Okay, right. So starting with school, I come from a very small village in Uttar Pradesh. Everything there was Hindi medium. So until my undergraduation, I was in a Hindi medium kind of a school situation. For my post-graduation, I went to IIT Kanpur, where I got exposed to so many new things. One of them being high energy physics that I got interested in, and I wanted to pursue that for my PhD. And I came to IISER having that in mind. So having said that, then I joined a Professor Saurabh Dube's group at IISER-Pune, where I worked on CMS experiment, where essentially what you do is you collide a bunch of protons and see what happens from that collision, what comes out of it, and you try to answer questions about how, let's say, universe began and what are the fundamental constituents of our universe. That was my research. But what I want to highlight is the skills that I learned are quite transferable. You could use those skills and do other things as well. So one of the important things that I would mention is problem solving and being persistent with it. Like, you don't give up. You just keep at it until you solve it. Then the other thing, as a part of working in the CMS experiment, I got to work with large data sets. So at this Large Hadron Collider, we collide protons every 25 nanoseconds. So you can imagine the amount of data that you are generating. So I got very accustomed to working with large data set and trying to answer complex questions using that data set. And then as part of being at IISER, you go to interact with a bunch of people from different expertise and domains, like starting from undergrads, which come from different parts of India. You go to experience the culture and their point of view. And even in terms of, since our lab was also new, we were setting up our cluster. So I got to interact with the IT people as well. So that was also quite interesting, which you don't get at other places like we got experience here. After my PhD, which I finished in 2019, I moved for a postdoc position. So I moved to US in a university, University of Nebraska-Lincoln, as a postdoc, where also I continued working on similar thing, but I also worked on hardware there, like actually building the detector that we were using to collect data. So I worked on that and also continued with the searches that I was already doing, analyzing the data and trying to answer what is actually the fundamental constituents of nature. So as I was highlighting earlier, although I was working in the physics domain, I was learning a lot of new skills which could be applied to other domains. So, and at the same time, fortunately or unfortunately, COVID also came, and due to some personal reasons, I decided to come back to India and decided to look for some positions here in India. And now, as a current role in 2 years ago, I joined as a senior data scientist at NICE Actimize, where we are essentially building AI and ML models to detect fraudulent financial transactions. Like, unless you are in that field, you don't realize how often it happens. Like, fraud and AML accounts for almost 10% of the world's GDP. So that's like a huge huge money which is going and getting used for activities which it shouldn't be used for. So that is where I found that I could use my skills that I acquired over the period while working at IISER and during the postdoc. And I could actually help combat this issue of fraud, which is prevalent everywhere. Like these days, it is like even in India, every day you get messages that, okay, you will get this much money, you'll get that much money. All of that is fraud. And we can prevent it if we build good enough systems that can alert that this transaction is not real, it's a fraud. So that's what I currently do. So what I would like IISER to thank for is giving me the ability to learn how to learn. I think that is one of the great skills that I learned here. Like there is nothing in the world that you cannot learn. If you have enough information and enough time, you can pursue that endeavor and excel at it. So that's where I'll end my presentation. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Shubhanshu. The next speaker is Vrushali Kumbar from 2014 batch BSMS. She's a senior risk analyst at JP Morgan Asset Management. Over to you.
Hello everyone, good evening. Thanks Kundan and thanks Anindya for giving me this opportunity to speak here today. So unlike the people in the video we just saw, I wasn't sure about whether I'm going to do an MBA, whether I'm going to do a PhD. I wasn't sure about anything. So I decided to not do a PhD, and hence the title of my talk. I took a leap of faith to not do a PhD and explore the other opportunities that are there. So the three pictures below, so IISER, ISB, and the current building that I work in. Okay. So like I said, I wasn't sure about what I'm going to do after my BSMS got over, and was very confused about where to go in life. So I decided to take a break from everything and just engage in some reading projects with Anindya and other professors at IISER. And then slowly and steadily, I thought that maybe I should give a chance to work in the industry, and I started looking out for jobs. But not long before that, pandemic hit, and obviously it affected all the industries across the board. So I decided to stay back and just focus on upskilling myself while we were in lockdown. And I decided to do a postgraduate program in algorithmic trading. While I was also learning, I was also looking for opportunities, actively browsing LinkedIn to look for the right fit. But slowly as the markets opened up and people were hiring again, I got the opportunity to work with ISB. So as a research associate and a TA, so the role that I was engaged in was basically to work on research projects and also act as a teaching associate for an executive program at ISB. So for students in the audience, the 4th and 5th year students who are not sure what they are going to do for a PhD or are curious about what lies beyond the conventional path of physics, chemistry, maths, there is an entire field of management sciences, and if you want to explore, ISB would be a good place to start exploring that, because they have research associate positions and you'll be engaged in research oriented to solve the business problems, and you'll be learning a lot, and maybe that will give you a better idea of what you want to do. So the role at ISB was at the intersection between academia and corporate. So I was working there, and also I was working as a TA and also working on research projects. And I did learn quite a lot in the experience, because I was actually applying what I learned in theory when it comes to machine learning and apply it to business cases. There were case studies we used to do, and I think that made me a little bit more confident about my ability to apply more skills in real life. So after 1.5 years of working at ISB, I decided that it was the right time to look for a change. That's when JP Morgan happened, and yeah, currently I'm working there as a risk analyst. And looking back, to be honest, it is again, I was an exceptional hire without zero corporate experience, and I have IISER to thank for it because of the reading projects that I did with Anindya Goswami, which helped me navigate from an completely academic background to a completely corporate background, and I was absorbed quite smoothly because of the projects that I did while I was at IISER. Yes, so talking about the work-life balance is not really great. It could be better. I mean, I have to be honest. But yeah, the life there is quite fast-paced. Whatever happens in the world, whatever happens in the US has raised rates by 0.5 bips. Everything, every small thing will reflect in the work that you do the next day itself, in the reports that you do. So the learning curve is quite steep. You have to learn things while on the fly. Yeah, I guess if you have more questions about it, we can discuss this later, but that's about it. Thanks.
Thank you, Vrushali, for providing us a glimpse into the world of risk analysis. Next up, we have Aditya Kabra, an indie hacker and BSMS alumnus from the batch of 2013-2018. Over to you.
So even before joining IISER, I always wanted to be an entrepreneur. IISER did not have that, or any other institution in India did not have entrepreneurship as a teaching mechanism. So I spent most of my time running around e-summits of different colleges, attending workshops, events at Venture Center, and other entrepreneurship-related things. And my friend was signing the attendance sheets for me. Soon Dr. Ambika realized this, and she switched to the fingerprint marking system. Then I was frustrated. I wrote to her that I'm a first-year BSMS student. I want to take a gap year and pursue volunteering activities roaming across India. She replied that there is no provision for this. You have to either leave the institute or... Since I was stuck here, I thought I will do something productive. We started initiation of badminton. I used to stay for like 8 to 9 hours on the court. This is Dr. K. Ganesh. We used to put this tambu behind, since we did not have court, and organize matches. I also started fighting for having a night canteen, and there was compulsory mess fees. And Dr. Colonel Rajshekar Reddy sir might remember that we had a long discussion on removing that compulsory fees and giving an option to students to have a choice. COSA did not like that. So they crossed the boundary by involving my parents. They sent an email that I don't care, do whatever you like, that dialogue I mentioned. Actually, like, I am very proud of 21-year-old me taking a stand for what I believe in and choosing aligning myself towards a path of change. But I am grateful to COSA to make me understand how to bring a systemic change in a bureaucratic environment, and also how to write polite emails and work with humility. Then I came to third year. I thought I will do some constructive and productive work. So me with a couple of other IISER students who were interested in entrepreneurship decided to start an entrepreneurship and innovation cell in the institute. With the support of Dr. K. Ganesh, who gave us 2 lakh rupees as a seed fund to start this initiative, we started this organization. We organized several events such as Coffee with a Startup, Techstars Global Startup Weekend, and a lot of other such activities. We even started our entrepreneurship course post our regular IISER work. For this, we were invited by Secretary of the President to have a lunch at Rashtrapati Bhavan. We also wrote the proposal to Niti Aayog. We had a vision that IISER should have its own incubation center. So our student body wrote a proposal to Niti Aayog. and we got allocated 10 crore rupees, because of which current AIC seed stands. I came to fifth year. I was doing my thesis at IMSC in the domain of theoretical computer science, and Dr. Premnath from Venture Center, who has been our mentor while establishing EIC, he asked what I was going to do with my life 4 months later, and I had no idea. One fine day, I received an email from him saying that there is an opportunity to collaborate with a NCL scientist to work in the domain of cellulose and work and take it forward as a startup. I replied to him that although I do not have much experience in chemistry, I have taken 2 years of lab work and Dr. Hota's course, because we were badminton partners, I was pretty sure that he would not fail me. So I replied to him that I am interested in this opportunity and hum bhi kar lenge yaar, kya hi hai matlab. So that's how my journey of Zero Plus Lab started, a 5-year journey. Along with the scientist from CSR National Chemical Lab, he's Dr. Kadiravan, a senior scientist from there. We licensed technology from NCL to develop this to solve this complex problem of resolving plastic pollution, mainly focusing on single-use plastics. Our technology was based on converting cellulose into coatings and films and utilizing them to create paper cups, food containers, and kitchen. To remove, currently, when you see a paper cup, whether at Starbucks or local, you will see a thin plastic coating hidden layer inside. And we were trying to replace that layer with our material, which will be biodegradable. These are the real prototypes that we had developed in our lab of the different products. We also started expanding into different product lines, such as replacing PVC flex banner, which is highly flammable and carcinogenic when burnt, with our material. Also, we expanded to one more product category, which was to replace rigid plastic items with composite materials. These are some certifications that we did for biodegradation and performance from recognized institutes such as Indian Institute of Packaging and CFTRI. At peak, we had 16-member team and a couple of advisors from and members from polymer science, organic chemistry, and different backgrounds. Since I was from a maths background, learning theoretical computer science, I had a team which helped us deliver this work. I need 2 more minutes, please. We were supported by United Nations Industrial Development Organization, DST, DBT, BIRAC, and all the other grant committees that you can think of. We were also published in Economic Times, Hindustan Times, and USA, and a couple of other things. We had H&M, ITC, Nivea, Nestle, Decathlon, and Aditya Birla as our clientele. We were working with them. You might feel that I'm bragging a lot, and there is a reason for that. During 4th year of our startup, on the day of January 2022, after investing 70 lakhs and continuously firefighting with the next step, next milestone, and meeting next goal, I thought, let's take a break and let's reanalyze the situation, what we are exactly doing, and whether we are really solving the plastic pollution problem or not. At that time, we had a subsequent grant of 1.5 CR allocated to us, committed by different grant agencies. This is the different grants that we applied to and got. Upon analyzing deeply, we recognized that we were having a wrong technology pathway. We chose a wrong product to launch in the market, and we were solving the plastic pollution problem in a wrong way. Bioplastics are not the real solution, and they won't solve the problem. And Dr. Sivaram, who is an ex-MCL director and honorary member of IISER-Pune, he was one of the close mentors to us who has advised us when we were analyzing this situation. It was time to either continue the illusion or to accept the reality, take the red pill, and decide what to do ahead. So this is one of the most heartbreaking moments of my life when I decided to close down my company exactly 1 year ago. This is where our R&D lab was set. I packed everything, rented a 17-foot truck, and sent it to my hometown, which is at my dad's office, which currently lies. After closing that startup, I was confused. I lost my identity. I thought that Zero Plus was what defined me. So I called my friend Birada, who used to sign attendance sheets in my first year, on behalf of me, and I asked him like, "Yeah, कुछ पता नहीं चल रहा है, क्या करना है?" He mentioned that like, 0+ did not define you. Entrepreneurship and innovation cell at IISER did not define you. You defined them. It's you, it's your work that you define. Your work does not define you. And having realized that, at this moment, there were a lot of thoughts going on in my mind. Like, what would society think? My parents, relatives, they started questioning like whether I'm an entrepreneur or just unemployed guy, and like what I'm doing ahead. But then I remembered the email of Kosa and my attitude at 21-year-old. And my current aim and mission in my life is not to disappoint that 21-year-old me. That if I believe that if certain path is right, then I'm going to follow that path no matter what anyone else says. And currently, I'm working on building different AI products and startups by utilizing the learning of my entrepreneurship journey and launching few ideas every week or every 2 weeks. That's it from my end. But before leaving, I would like to share one emotional journey with you of one IISER alumni who is no longer with us. It's a story of a close friend, Kaustubh Tarmale, a BSMS alumnus of 2017 batch. He was a fellow founder of Entrepreneurship and Innovation Cell. After graduation, he also wanted to become an entrepreneur. After graduation, he went to IIM Shillong. And during his after his first year break, he came back and was vacationing with his family members. 3 of his brothers, they went to swim in a nearby river. And by accident, someone opened the flood dams without any warning, and the river started flowing with a great speed. Kaustubh jumped without thinking. He managed to save 3 of his brothers, but he could not survive. He's no more with us. Kaustubh was one of the great guys, one of the most happening guy. And no matter how stressful the situation was, he always made everyone happy and made everyone, like with his jokes, he used to crack. He was awarded Jeevan Raksha Padak by Rashtrapati for his work in saving the life of 3 of his brothers, which is one of the highest award that is awarded to civilians for saving lives. And one of the learnings that we can take from this incident is life is short. बाबू मोशाय जिंदगी बड़ी होनी चाहिए, छोटी नहीं. Thank you.
Thank you, Aditya. Scandals aside, that was full of emotions and full of constructive chaos. Now we have Varun Karamshetty, a BSMS alumnus from the batch of 2009-14. Varun is an assistant professor at National University of Singapore.
Okay. Hey, everyone. Good evening. Thanks for having me here. Thanks, Kundan, and thanks, Santanam as well, and Rahul and Shraddha, whose names I've been seeing on the emails, but I'm sure there are a lot of other people who made this happen, so thanks a lot. Yes, so my name is Varun Karamshetty. I joined in 2009. I graduated in 2014. BSMS batch, one of the very, very early guinea pigs. When I joined in 2009, nobody had graduated yet. The senior most batch was still in their 3rd year maybe or 4th year. So the first graduating batch happened as I was in my 2nd or 3rd year. Now I'm an assistant professor within the Department of Information Systems and Analytics. This department sort of sits inside the School of Computing, which is in the National University of Singapore. I sit in a STEM school now, and I was a STEM student from 2009 to 2014, but my PhD is actually in management, which was from INSEAD. I spent 6 years doing that. It's a bit of a very confusing and weird journey. I was a STEM student at some point. I went on to do a PhD in management, which is sort of what Vrishali was trying to allude to. when she said, there's this management science, and she was an RA trying to get some experience in that. And then I moved back to STEM in the School of Computing right now. What I went through in order to get to this sort of is very, very much in line with the video that we saw very early on, and in line with the talks that I've seen so far. I was very confused for most of my BSMS, especially during the final years. When I was in my 4th year and in my 5th year, I was ready to do and take any exam. I was ready to take a bank PO exam. I was ready to write the Armed Forces entrance exam. I wrote the GRE, I wrote the GMAT, and I basically took all possible exams because in the beginning, at least, I had this very binary sort of a mindset. It's either do the GRE, go the MS route, and then join the industry, or do the GMAT, get an MBA, and then join the industry, as we saw in the video earlier, or sort of do the GRE, do a STEM PhD, and then join academia. Right? I mean, it's either MBA versus MS or PhD, or you get into industry, you do the academia thing. Do you want to be on the applied side? Do you want to be on the pure side? These were sort of the only options that I was hearing, at least in the beginning years of my PhD, and even towards the 4th and 5th year of my PhD. I was not super happy with that. Neither my 5th year project was with Dr. Pranay Goel, who at that point was both affiliated with the maths department and the biology department, and I had a lot of fun working with him. Right? And so I liked the kind of life he was leading. I still like it. I liked the lifestyle that he showed me when, sort of he was my advisor. And I wasn't super ready to move out of it, but I also knew that I didn't want to do a STEM PhD, right? And the question that I asked myself was, can I somehow get the best of both of these worlds, right? And my solution to that problem was to do a PhD in management instead, right? So this is, a PhD in management means you use data analysis, mathematical modeling, simulations, and experiments to improve managerial decision making. And so the managerial decision making is the end goal, but many of the techniques that I learned along the way were those that I learned in IISER. Pretty much all of the math that I use right now is what I learned in IISER. Yes, I had to do an extra master's in microeconomics and then the PhD in microecon in order to get the PhD eventually, but all of the technical stuff that I use as part of my job, they came from my time during at IISER, right? I work closely with industry collaborators right now. I'm here in India right now because I'm visiting ISP, and I'm here in Pune just so that I could sort of attend this event. I don't have to compromise on that industry versus academia. It's not a binary choice for me. And I can solve those problems in a generalizable theory-driven fashion, which is what IISER taught all of us, right? And sort of the bottom line that I want to give you here is you don't have to necessarily do an MBA if you want to be in the industry. There are other paths where you are essentially teaching and mentoring MBA students, right? So these MBA students are basically my students now. And you get there by taking advantage of the research training that you already have access to, and then putting it in other places where you think you can add more value, right? And if any of this sort of sounds interesting to you, get in touch. I'm happy to chat. I respond to every email that comes from an IISER alumni. And I'm always looking for research assistants. I'm always looking for PhD students. And if this is something that you want to do, yeah, happy to chat. Thank you.
Thank you, Varun, for sharing your journey after IISER. Our next speaker, Dr. Neela Mehendare, a PhD alumnus from the batch of 2016-2021, has embarked on a creative journey along with research. So let's hear about it from him.
Hello? Okay. Hi, everyone. Yeah, I'm audible. Hi, everyone. I'm Nilay, and I really thank IISER for organizing this event. And I really thank Kundan for inviting me. It's, गाने वाले अक्सर बोला नहीं करते क्योंकि बोलना मुश्किल है मेरे लिए गाने से ज़्यादा. But that's why I'm referring to a couple of notes that I've been taking while I was sitting here. This is a really tough act to follow because we've been hearing about successful startups. We have big officers on the panel. We have forensics, financial forensics experts, and wow, this is like a really nice panel that we have today. I really wish I would have also put together a few pictures of my life in IISER because I really enjoyed my time over here. And what I would like to say is that similar to Mansi's story, the fabric of my life is also interlaced with science and art. So for me, both of them are like really indispensable parts of my life. I began vocal training, like vocal classical music training under Shri Hemang Mehta, who's a student of Pandit Jasraji, and that was when I was 17 years old. And music has been going on for me since then. I've been performing in Pune. I've performed on this very dais, the very same dais. I now am in Berlin. I also perform over there. But then after I started learning music, a couple of years after that, I also thought that science is an interesting thing to go to. So I went for this integrated master's in biotechnology course that is offered at IBP, which is Institute of Bioinformatics and Biotechnology in the University of Pune. And that course was really, really, in my eyes, an amazing course, very formative for any researcher who wants to pursue research in the future. And after that, I came here to IISER to do my PhD. And I remember writing to Kundan back then because you needed to have cleared a JRF or some kind of fellowship to be eligible to apply. But I had missed my JRF 2 times by half a mark. So I told him, Arey, at least let us be eligible to apply. Interview ke baad dekhenge agar kuch hua to. But then the system was accommodative enough to do that. So then I landed up here in IISER. I got the fellowship, and then yeah, my PhD work over here, I would say, was pretty luxurious and I would say illustrious compared to a lot of people because I got really good papers out of here. And of course, even when I was in IISER, my music never stopped. We had such nice music sessions in the dance and drama room. And with that, I don't see a lot of the people that I hung out with back then over here today, but I think that networking is really, really important. Doesn't matter if it is science, doesn't matter if it is arts. So with all the networks that I generated in IISER, I am now currently doing a postdoc. I think I'm the only one who is still in academia from all the speakers who spoke today. So I'm doing my postdoc in Berlin. It's in chemical biology, and what I'm doing is I focus on protein pyrophosphorylation. So I have identified a novel enzyme, which is not a novel enzyme, but a novel activity now, which we need to annotate to an enzyme. So that has also been really nice. However, I get the sense that the most interesting part of what I've done so far is this one short stint, not a stint, I would say, like a movie that I did in Netflix, and the opportunity for that to me came by in a very serendipitous manner. It was really tough to choose between doing my PhD because I was really in the thick of my PhD at that time, which was my 4th year in COVID, and when we are trying to loosen up the remaining ends of our research, that's when I had this opportunity. But I said, I will try and give it my 100%. If it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. Because 40 years down the line, I don't want to think back and say that, "Arey, wo karna chahiye tha." So it was a really steep learning curve for me to go and do this movie, but I was able to do it, and that is also something now which is a part of my kitty. So I would say that first I am a singer because that's like my true passion. Followed by that, I am a researcher, like I'm a scientist, and then if it happens that I do more movies in the future, then I would also call myself an actor. And I think in the brochure you would have seen that it's an actor researcher. I would say it's the other way around, as of now at least. And it depends on which of these three faculties open their doors to me in the future. So as of now, I feel like a career nomad, balancing between science, balancing between science, music, and movies and art, whatever comes my way. So, however, I think that one thing that really binds all of this together is proper networking. So you need to have like really, really good networking if you want to do well in arts, be it music or films or media, or be it science. So I think what IISER is doing now by setting up this association is a really nice thing, because we have people who have passed out from IISER who are doing like a variety of different fields, some things that are new and unheard of, and you keep learning new things. So I really thank IISER, and with that, I wish you a very happy new year and sign off from here. Thank you.
Thank you, Neelay. And in case you're wondering what is the name of the movie, it's Cobalt Blue. You can look it up. Our next speaker, Asim, joins us virtually from the University of Luxembourg, a BSMS alumnus from the batch of 2012 and 17. I know we are not supposed to have bias, but he's one of my favorite seniors. He's now a postdoctoral researcher. Let's connect with Asim over Zoom.
He's co-host.
Can you hear us? You can start. I think we can hear you.
Okay.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay. Thank you. Okay, I got the confirmation that everyone can hear me now. Let me begin. So I'm Asim Shirsagar, BSMS alumnus of IISER-Pune. I graduated in 2017. I come from a place from the middle of Maharashtra, somewhere, a place called Parbhani, where I did my schooling in good old state board Marathi medium government aided school. And then I moved to Aurangabad, where I was preparing for JEE, because of course at that time nobody knew about IISER and everyone wanted to get inside IITs. And then eventually, with some fascination, some enthusiasm, and with a lot of suspicion, I ended up in this newly found IISER. Well, not newly found, but still it was relatively new. The rickshawalas wouldn't know where exactly IISER is. And in the IISER days, I specialized more in the physics and a bit of chemistry of materials, which is possible because of this our interdisciplinary structure. I did some semester project on thermoelectric materials with Dr. Prasenjit Ghosh, and I went on to do my master's thesis project in JNCSR on battery materials. And what I loved about IISER is that it gave me this exposure to research, but also appreciation of science across disciplines. And it gave me this agency of asking questions, which I found very useful also later. And when I arrived in IISER, it was quite a really humble campus with a hostel and just the current. And me being from semi background and with poor English, I was a little bit shy in the beginning. I didn't know how to talk with everyone in the batch who could speak fluently English. But then eventually that phase was over and I made friends for I also engaged in a lot of extracurricular activities. I was one of the general coordinator of Mimamsa, and I also worked for publicity of Karwa. Apart from that, I also participated in organizing March for Science in Pune in 2017. So after that, I moved for a PhD in material science to a beautiful city of Grenoble in France, which is the capital of French Alps, where I worked on a microscopic mechanism of light tunable gas uptake in porous materials. So you must be thinking that I'm still going in this typical science pathway, and still that continues. University of Luxembourg. So Luxembourg is this tiny country sandwiched between Belgium, France, and Germany. And there, I'm currently working on how we can modulate magnetic texture of materials using light. However, a little bit of interesting part of this journey has been my involvement in Luxembourg's social and political scene. And one of the motivations participating in Luxembourg's politics was that I was just too tired of the academic bubble. You know, you meet only the PhDs and postdocs and master students. It's too small, it's too homogeneous. You never hear something new, something exciting. And Luxembourg City is quite a unique place. So it is made up of 75% of population is made up of residents who are foreigners in their citizenship. Although they contribute a lot to the prosperity of the city, they have little say politically. And when I arrived in Luxembourg, I faced some of the problems of Luxembourg city, such as its housing crisis. So I was paying a rent of around 1 lakh rupees for a 100 square feet room with 8 other flatmates, for example. And interestingly, Luxembourg has voting rights for foreigners in municipal elections. And I was interested by this. I met some of my activist friends, newly found friends in Luxembourg, and they told me, why don't you join our campaign called as Our City, Our Votes, to register foreigners to vote? Because even though foreigners make majority of the population, they did not make the majority of voting because they have to register to vote. And in fact, our campaign was immensely successful, and it reached thousands of foreign residents. We were able to register a lot of foreigners for the elections, and that brought a lot of discourse about importance of foreigner residents and their stake in the society. And I found that this was a very meaningful way of engaging with society and people who are outside of our comfort zones from academia. And it's also a good platform to understand social, economical, and political issues from within directly by talking to people and not just from reading the newspaper. And so after this campaign, I was asked by my friends to run for the election in the municipal council for the municipal council members. And I decided to go for it. And it was a very great experience for me because I got to understand the city's past and present thoroughly. I was able to raise issues of the majority of foreigners who are not represented in politics and who are vulnerable in many senses. Also, this was a lot of engagement with voters, journalists, and other politicians, which gave me a lot of confidence about public speaking and thinking on the spot about some issues. In some ways, politics and community engagement is where a lot of different sciences converge, social sciences, even our natural sciences, because climate change, for example, is one of the important topic in elections that happen in Europe. And so this was, for me, a crash course on urban planning, socio-economic issues, political science, competence of municipalities, advocacies, and a lot. And here, actually, I think that my science background and my training in IISER has helped me a lot to grasp new issues and new concepts, new ideas very quickly. And in fact, with this experience, I found that engaging with society and organizations can be sometimes even more difficult than scientific research. And of course, with this is something that I'm doing side by side, so I still continue my postdoc. And I think it should be, in some sense, normalized that scientists can participate in citizen activists without always being that activity being science outreach. So, yeah, in the elections, then I got around 1,500 votes. Of course, I did not win in my first go, but it was a nice start, and I'm actually more grateful for the interaction that I had than just the number of votes that I got. And so I would like to give some preachy take-home message that probably I said already, that the science education gives us a lot of skills and they are very valuable for community level problem solving. So this is something very underestimated. We always think of our careers and that's always important, but then we also learn to solve problems in a collaborative way in research. And I think that is something that is a transferable skill to solving problems at the level of society. And I think also it should be normalized that scientists can engage with society in a non-sciencey way beyond the typical science outreach, because we are also part of the society. We are also citizens, and we are not always scientists who are removed from the society in this little bubble of the university. So with this, my talk comes to an end. I would like to thank the organizers for giving me the opportunity to share my journey. I'd like to also thank my life partner and also my classmate from IISER-Pune, Mithila, for her continuous support. And thanks to all of you for your attention.
Thank you, Asim, for taking the time to share your experiences with us despite the distance. So when he said he got not just friends for life, but he also got a wife from IISER. And now let's move on to a dynamic Q&A session. I request all the speakers to be seated on the stage. Please welcome our moderator, Dr. Chaitanya Mungi, an PhD alumnus from 2011 and 2019, who will facilitate this engaging discussion.
So, in the interest of time, we'll try to keep the Q&A short and sweet. I would encourage students to ask questions which will be useful for everyone. Another small hint is that after this, we have a longer networking session over tea and whatever snacks are available. So, if you have any specific question which can be addressed by the speakers in front of everyone, please try to ask those questions. And yeah, as they are seated, I request anyone from the audience to raise their hand if they have a question.
Volunteer with mic?
Volunteers with mics should be ready. Yes. It could be faculty, it could be students, it could be anyone.
I think Yash has a question right here also.
Okay. Yeah, we have a question here, but let's take a question from the audience. Yeah, and the mic will reach you. Okay, by the time, who's the audience mic? Careful.
Are you okay?
Are you okay?
First question.
They're at the back. There.
Hello. Thank you for very insightful talks. I want to ask that if I want to make a career in finance, especially in equity, what can I go forward about?
So I think there's no this thing, but I see everyone passing mic to Brushali, so.
Yes. Yeah. So catch on India, I guess. So I think like once you decide that what you're going to major in, which considering that you want to break into finance, I'm guessing that it would be mathematics. So once you just tailor your electives accordingly, pick more applied subjects if you're absolutely sure that you don't want to pursue a PhD in pure mathematics. Then like start engaging with more of projects aligned towards learning about concepts in finance. And also if IISER still has the collaboration that we had when pandemic started with Coursera, just leverage that to the most extent possible. It will give you a lot of insights and like expose you to a lot of fields basically that are available in the field of finance. Yeah.
Your and just after a BSMS.
It depends upon you. So if you do an the career growth that you'll have once you join corporate will be more accelerated than with just BSMS. Have a if you want to work in finance.
Okay, I think Yash had another question, so you can just directly ask it from here.
Yeah, so my question is to Smita. Yeah, so you had mentioned that you had a background in biology and you went on to do, you're working in a bank now and you'll be soon joining RBI. Congratulations for that. So what do you feel, how different was this journey? I mean, what I'm asking specifically is, could you use your biology background while you were preparing for the bank exams?
No, nothing. There's nothing in common.
So how differently did this BSMS degree help you to crack the exam of bank exam, whatever exam you have given?
So like Shubhanshu said, we learned how to learn here. So I think that was what helped me. I could read and I could learn. So yeah.
Were you also involved in any particular extracurricular activities?
No, nothing.
All right. Okay. Thank you.
The person who has next question, please raise your hand. Yeah, there's one at the back there. And the next one already raise your hand so that we can make sure the mic reaches you.
Thank you for letting me ask you a question. My question is a very high CGPA worth your extra?
I am not sure which one of here would like to answer that, but yeah. With
Any takers?
I see people passing around the mic, so they are trying to gauge whose was the highest so that their answer is valid. But I think the one with the lowest or the highest both can answer that. With no judgment of who was what. Go ahead. I think it's just up to you.
What was the question again?
Is asking is the okay. Give the mic to Srindy for now. Yeah.
So do you have in mind what is it that you want to do after IISER?
A vague idea, yes, but like not 100% sure.
Is it related to academia?
Yeah.
Then perhaps yes.
Okay, I know this might get into a more detailed discussion. Long story short, your CGPA is just a number. The contacts you make, the way you will present yourself will also add to it. But I'm sure we all can discuss this in a more fun way over chai or something.
But just one thing I want to say.
Please do.
I think summer projects and internships for me, understanding academia and academic research. So if you are interested in understanding whether you want to do it or not, I think immersing yourself in your projects or thesis as much as possible is the best way to go about it.
Thank you.
The next question is there. Yeah.
In addition to what Srinidhi said, I think focus on your CGPA, but also focus on developing transferable skills. Because speaking from a corporate point of view, your CGPA won't matter if what you bring to the table is worth the money that they are paying. So I would just adding on to it.
I would like to, on behalf of all the student community, I would like to thank Aditya for taking the initiative to start Night Canteen and AIC Seed. Yeah, so I don't have any question as such. Thank you.
Okay. So if somebody has a question, and that would probably be the last question for the evening. Okay, please raise your hand. That's a question. Yeah. Okay, yours will be last, don't worry. Please give the mic to him first. Okay.
So my question is to anyone who wishes to answer. So my parents don't want me to do a non-sciencey career. So how do I convince them that I want to do something other than science. Since you all have, almost all have done other than science careers.
So I'll just repeat her question because some of you didn't get it. Her parents don't want her to do a non-science career. So she wants to probably convince her parents to get into a non-scientific career. And I think a lot of speakers here have ventured into a different field. So Mansi can probably answer that. No, I'm not forcing anyone to answer in general, but if you would like to add.
Hey, I think the way to go about it is just be firm on what you want to do. If you don't like what you do, you're going to fail for sure. So there's no question of convincing. You just have to execute, I think.
Okay, sure. Thanks.
Again, one more question there.
So first of all, thank you for that wonderful event. So my question is about the change. You know, as a personal, my life has been that straight. Till my 8th, my career was different. I changed in 8th. Then in 10th, I again changed. In 12th, I again changed. So, you know, the crisis that you told us about passion. So first of the thing is, I don't know what passion is. Passion is like, you know, sometimes I feel like, you know, all of you are, some are politicians, some are data scientists. If you ask a PhD guy, he will say, oh, I would like to be a data scientist. I like to be a politician because, you know, personally, we all see the end goal. But I want to know, like, how to know what should I choose? Because, and the other thing is, what if I like a very, like all of the things? Is it really necessary for me to make a sacrifice for something? So that's my question. Thank you.
So, okay, let me answer it. I think what you need to focus on is the process. If you are enjoying the process of doing something, end goal need not be so important. It's the day-to-day work that you are doing if you are enjoying doing that. And it need not be same for 5 years. You might enjoy it today, you might enjoy it for a few more years. But you might get interested in something else, then you should be able to pursue that as well. So I won't say that the passion has to stay same for your entire life. One can have like number of passions, they can keep evolving. You can keep evolving yourself, like everybody evolves. We are not the same person. I don't think anybody would be the same person they were like 10 years ago or even 5 years ago. You completely change. So the only thing that you should keep in mind is you should enjoy the process of doing things that you are doing. That's all.
I have a different perspective. After closing down my startup Zero Plus Labs, I was in a similar position, figuring out like what to do next with my career. And I listed down like 4 or 5 things that I had in my mind. One was to go back home, open a factory with my dad. We visited a couple of factories and spoke with the industry founders. I did not like the science and technology component since it was not there. I come from, I have education at IISER, like, so I thought that might not be a proper career fit. Then I thought, let's apply for a job in a small startup and see how it goes. I applied to a couple of jobs, look at their descriptions. I did not find it exciting. So only way you are going to know something is interesting to you is by going out, talking to people who are already doing those things, maybe doing a trial, small pilot, like small experiments to figure out whether this career fits you or not. And once you do this for multiple projects, multiple ideas, someday you will find a work that really might be of interest to you. And once you do that like repeatedly and do like hard work in that, you will become great at it. So there's no answer to this that someone is going to tell you, your parents or us or your faculty members or the institute. It's up to you to try out different things and understand which one will work best for you.
Okay, just a last question and yeah.
So hello everyone and thank you so much for such a beautiful discussion. My question to you is that how the values and morals which you learned in BSMS or PhD from IISER are helping you to achieve perks in your life, and what message you would like to give to our IISER and student body so that they can utilize their student time very properly to achieve their goals and future projects in their life.
I think one of the most important skill to learn is good time management. And if you're able to manage your time well, I think that also is something that I could have said for the earlier questions. So that is one of the things that you should be able to learn, because now you have several subjects, you need to study for all subjects. If you're doing your PhD, you have several experiments and whatnot going on. So that is definitely one thing that you should be able to bring into your system. And the other thing is, I think someone also mentioned it earlier, is that you sort of get equipped with how to digest and assimilate things faster. So it is easier for you to learn new things. It is easier for you to take a plunge into deep waters. You learn to swim faster with the kind of training that you get. So I think those are the two skills that are really important when it comes to taking something home from IISER.
One of the things that I wanted to share an experience. In IISER, we are kind of like we speak what we believe in, right? Like facts, if it's credible, if we have like some credibility towards that, like if we see a research paper, it's based on some scientific facts, we kind of be arrogant about those and we kind of put it out across. When I was applying to initial grants to BIRAC, Department of Biotechnology, the panel members have huge egos. And you cannot tell them that, like, although you have credible sources for these things, you cannot tell that like you are wrong to them. So somewhere the humility also needs to be developed, that I was able to develop post IISER life, acknowledging the perspectives of others, where they are coming from, and mentioning that like, okay, like what you are saying might be right or might be wrong. You give us money and we'll do the work. So yeah, humility is one of the aspects that I have learned far later in my life.
Okay, so with that, big thank you to all of our alumni for those wonderful answers, and also thank you to the audience for the insightful questions. I would request Professor Bhagwat to please come up here and to actually inaugurate the Alumni Association just by launching a small video for now. It's just a gesture. Yeah, I'm sorry, I also request the alumni to be seated. I know you can't watch the video very much well, but we'll show you again because we request you to be seated there. You can just click on please.
Before I do that, I just would like to say a couple of things. Life in IISER makes you more suitable to take up an academic career than many other science institutions. It in no way precludes the possibility of you taking up any other career, and does not mean that that is the only career you can take. And these are examples to show you that path. Okay? So let's inaugurate the association which will bring people together. Hello alumni. You have spent 5 very valuable years of your life in this campus of IISER-Pune. Our first batch graduated more than 10 years ago, and I feel this is a wonderful time to connect back to the institute. You can not only just visit the campus and meet the teachers who were your favorites or those who were not, or just visit the campus and see the developments in the campus.
The connections nurtured through one's educational journey often cultivate some of the most profound and meaningful allegiances. To that end, I extend a warm invitation to you to formally join the IISER-Pune Alumni Association.
For a number of years, we've been running an informal version of our alumni association, and I'm quite happy that today we have come to this point where we are launching this alumni association.
In the Alumni Network, we hope you'll be able to connect with some old friends, make new ones, and this wealth of your collective experiences, knowledge and active exchange of ideas and expertise with fellow alumni will surely escalate our shared impact on society.
There are many ways in which you can benefit from the Institute even today, and the Institute will certainly benefit from your association here.
As we rely on you to mentor our current students whenever the opportunity arises, share your success stories, inspire the next generation of IISER graduates, and create and participate in alumni-led initiatives.
This will be an opportunity to connect with our alumni on a more regular basis, and I also look forward to the contributions of the alumni in the growth of the institutes in the coming years.
So please do connect with the Institute. There is a portal with which you can do so, which will be displayed right after this.
Thank you for the insightful video. It's inspiring to see the vision of our Alumni Association. I request Professor Bhagwat to give our speakers a small token of appreciation. Aditya. Varun. Mansi, Shubhanshu, Smita, Vishali, Nilesh, Srinidhi and Chris. Thank you to our speakers, moderators, and everyone present for making the first Alumni Connect meet a success. I invite upon Kundan to present the closing remarks.
So thanks to all the alumni who made this program a really grand success. We invited quite a few alumni, but those who could make it here could come here and then share their experiences, which I think was really enriching. And I think as faculty, we also now know where to turn to if we want to learn something from our own students. And they're doing so well in their respective careers. It's really heartening to know. I'll be feeling my duty if I don't thank a few people before we close. Really big thanks to Santanam, of course, who's been the guiding spirit of all of this program. Thanks to also our Office of the International Relations. Shubhangi has been working quite a lot on this program. Aparna, who is not here, she has done a lot of work. I'm not sure if Snehal is here. Snehal is sitting there. Please give her a round of applause. She has put together everything single-handed. And Shanti for all the help with the media and all of the publicity that we could manage for this program. Naveen and Satish at the back to help us with everything that we did here. And all the volunteers, which are from the third year and the fourth year, and I'm not sure if they're fifth year students, but largely third and fourth year BSMS students who are here. And more than that, I'm very happy that our own alumni who are on campus, that is Rahul and Shraddha and Chaitanya, they're constantly working with us in getting all of this program together. And they have helped in ideating the program and putting together all of these, and also the students who have contributed to this program that we launched here, and hopefully the students, all that is the alumni and our current students, will work together to launch and make many, many more such alumni connect events from our institute. It's also really wonderful that we have Professor Ambika here today, who has been the guiding spirit for us from the very day our institute started. She was the one who was the Dean of Graduate Studies and helped us in many, many different activities. Really great that you are here today, as a coincidence, I think. And also thank Jayant for coming for this occasion, and all the faculty and the director for the support that we have got for this activity. We hope that a lot of other alumni, not just a few who are here, but many, many other alumni who are there across the world constantly come here and meet us and maybe even interact with our students as often as possible. Many of our PhD students, in fact, former PhD students, are coming and giving talks. So please look up the calendars and schedules. They're giving really wonderful talks in our departments, which is, there are quite a few scheduled next week. So do attend some of the talks that are happening from our own alumni who are now coming back to give talks. So with that, I thank all of you for coming here, and please join us for tea. Thank you so much.
Before we conclude, I invite you all to step outside the auditorium hall. Some of you already got up, but great. For a session of tea and networking, this is a wonderful opportunity to continue the conversations, ask more elaborate questions, and make new connections. Thank you.